Listen, listen, grab your seat, have a seat, have a seat, have a seat, grab you something to drink. I I'm ready. I am so ready. I don't know how I missed this. I had no idea that this was actually getting ready to go down. How did I miss that there was going to be a versus between Tank and Tyrese? Baby, listen, I got a whole lot to say. Baby, versus, it went down. Hey guys, what is going on? How'd y'all let me miss that? Y'all been fussing at me about all kind of little TV shows. Ain't nobody said nothing. Ain't nobody said nothing. They done ran around in these streets and put together a versus battle between Tank and Tyrese. And ain't nobody told me nothing. How is that even possible? I said, listen, but that's all right because it came across my desk. Baby, listen, it was everything to me. It was one of them ones, you know, the doggone verses is going to give you some of everything. It's like going to a concert mixed with a podcast, mixed with a comedy show, and some more stuff. And they had all the elements, all the elements. When I tell you that the comedy portion was up here, it was up here. I said, this is crazy. And this is truly some people who are actually well yoked for the battle, but totally different. So it actually gets to be really hard to decide which one won. But I had figured it out really, really quickly who I felt like won. And then when I went to social media, I was like, whoa, really? Because I thought it was a clear shot. I thought it was a clear shot. So I'm like, gonna be interesting. So we got Tyrese and we got Tank. Both I've known from the beginnings of what they do. You know, I discovered Tyrese on the bus. On the bus. All that. And Tank, child, you know, he was just too fine not to notice where he first came out. He couldn't even tiptoe his way. It was like, who's that? You know, so just always been a fan of both and their music. So here's the thing. It was very clear to me that it really kind of depends on who you are and what you like, because they both do some of the same type of music, but they are so different. They are so different. And even in the age range, they not that far off. They really are in the same pocket. They really are. And they both can really, really sing. Both of them. Both of them can really, really sing. So I was like, this is going to be hard. So I said, well, it's probably going to break down to showmanship. Then I thought about it and I said, wait a minute, hold on. Could it really, as far as a winner, to pick a clear winner? I knew we were going to be entertained. I knew it was going to be a good time. But to pick a clear winner, because let's just start with the real stuff. What makes a winner for Versus? And are we all on the same page? Because I don't think that we are. I think along the way that once it comes out, you know, rap, when it's rap, it was easy in the beginning. When it was like rap star, either you can rap or you can't. You can rap or you can't. And then it got more complicated when you got like these mumble rappers and then these rappers that talk real fast. And then you got the ones that talk about all violence and drugs and stuff. It you know, the nuances start to get in there. Then when it went into music and music catalogs and all of that, that's when it became very clear what, in my opinion, what my understanding is, the winner of a versus battle is really, versus is a catalog battle. It's a catalog battle. Now, to have a catalog battle, it starts to be, the nuances come into play. The nuances come into play, especially when you start pulling people in who do more production than actual recording. So it really, you know, when you go and pull in the Teddy Riley's of the world and stuff like that, Teddy Riley is a producer who happens to be able to sing and perform. So that is my understanding of versus. Versus is really a catalog battle. So when they start talking about number ones versus not a number one, that really ain't got nothing to do with it as far as I'm concerned, because if it has to do with number ones, we don't need to have the battle, because people lie, men lie, women lie, children lie their ass off, but numbers don't lie. If something was number one, it's there and it's all documented and you can pull it up. You can Google it. Any song, any album, any artist, you know what their number ones were, you know how long they were in number one, and you can go as far as to figure out how much money they actually made off of it. Understand what I'm saying? You see where I'm going? So it's like, what are we really talking about? What are we talking about? You said if it's numbers, it's automatically Tyrese. No. Which numbers? Which numbers, Bap? Because Tank writes and produces for a ton of people. Tank has far more hits with other people than Tyrese. Because if you start talking about numbers and catalog, the catalog would include, so you say it's about their solo catalog, so neither one of them shouldn't have been there. Because neither one of them got enough. Like with your solo, do either one really have enough hits? Like hits that produce numbers to hold a whole basic concert? See what I mean? See how it starts getting, it's the nuances? Because it's not really about solo catalog. Because if it's about solo catalog, then Teddy Riley could have never done it. What are the solo? There are no solos. Guy, that's not solo, that's a group. But even if you pull the group ain't got enough to hold you there for 20 minutes. It's not about their solo, it's all their work. Catalog. Catalog means your work, your contribution to the industry. Right. There we go, Bat. See what I'm saying? How I get, it's like, what are we actually talking about? And that's what I view it as, a catalog battle. That is everything you sang, everything you wrote, everything you produced, anything that has your name and literally creates a royalty check is part of your catalog. It's part of your catalog. And you can't take out and say, well, you didn't sing that and you didn't do that and you didn't. So that's kind of, I was like, well, where are we at here? Where are we at? And then they'll pull up, one person's name that comes up a lot is Joe. Because, you know, Joe fits in this piece right here is Joe, Jamie Foxx. They fit. But Joe, what Joe do? We just know Joe and we love Joe, but what has Joe done? What Joe got? 1, 2 songs? But we'll listen to whatever he's gonna sing. You start pulling out catalog, like literally a solo catalog, Goes through John Legend up on the stage, and it's over. John Legend, and it's totally shut down. And I promise you that it would be very hard for John Legend to actually win a versus battle with the public because his music is so specific. But that catalog is undeniable. That catalog's undeniable. And he got number ones. But his music resonates with a different crowd of people who don't even watch Verzuz. Y'all see what I'm saying? Y'all following me? Y'all feeling what I'm putting down? He had a Billboard number one hit. Right. A. And I love Joe. He had a Billboard number one, and he got some really good songs. But you know my favorite thing that Joe ever did that I've seen him do thus far? My favorite thing is a cover that he did on YouTube of Adele's song, Hello. That's my favorite thing that he did. See what I'm saying? Now, I will log in if I know he's going to sing that. But if he just going to sing his stuff, I may not even show up. And I love him. Y'all see what I'm saying? Okay, so let's get to this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell y'all, for me, I feel like Tank mollywopped Tyrese completely. I feel like Tank mollywopped, backslid, and moonwalked and ran a circle around Tyrese in every entertaining aspect of it. Every jokes, comedic timing, ad libs. I mean, from the opening, he was beating his ass from the opening. His presence on stage, mollywopping Tyrese. Everything. Complete performer. He was completely comfortable on stage. Tyrese was giving me anxiety. I was like, what's going on? But then when I thought back to it, Tyrese has always done that to me. I've always felt like that about Tyrese. Like, he always seemed a bit awkward on stage, though that man is extremely talented. But he always felt awkward. And I'm going to tell you, the female equivalent of that is Jennifer Hudson. You put a mic in Jennifer Hudson's hand, that heifer is going to deliver. But I can't stand to watch her. I cannot stand to watch Jennifer Hudson. She gives me anxiety because she just don't know what to do with herself. She's standing there. She don't know what to do with her hands. She's just not charismatic on stage to me. She's not. She is not. I can even see it even watching the movie Dreamgirls and her big scene in the movie. I still was sitting there like, poor baby, she don't know what to do with her hands. She'll know what to do with her hands. There is a thing. There's a skill to knowing how to move your body on stage that makes people comfortable. And it's kind of hard to explain, but if you know, you know. And y'all know I know. If you know, you know. She just has you said, wow, does Fantasia give you anxiety? Hell no. Fantasia knows what to do with herself on stage. Fantasia literally just the only way that you might get anxiety from Fantasia, you don't know what she's getting ready to do. Same as with Patti LaBelle. But Fantasia is absolutely comfortable because she literally just lets everything go. Fantasia is actually moved by a spirit. When she get on stage, she don't really give a damn what she looks like on stage. So she has nothing to be uneasy about. Fantasia literally gets on the stage, they put a mic in her hand, and she surrenders. She just surrenders. And there is no choreography. She's just there and she's in it. So no, Fantasia don't make me feel like that at all. No kind of way. No kind of way. I'll tell you just some examples of people that just know what to do. Diana Ross. She's like, that's the matriarch. That's the playbook. Diana Ross, if you look at Ross, Ross doesn't try. Ross is like a gazelle. That's how she ended up being who she. Diana Ross doesn't have the best voice. She's not the prettiest. She is fabulous. But I mean, let's really get down to it. She is not the prettiest woman in the world. She's not ugly or anything. I'm not saying that. I think she's attractive and everything. Her body's always been, she has a model's body and all that. But she's not like a stunning beauty. Like, y'all, Beyonce is stunning. She just got all the stuff. Beyonce is stunning. Some people really think that Mariah is stunning. Ross, I've never thought Ross was a stunning beauty. I think Ross has a look. She has a look, but it's everything all together. She just is shit. And she just be there. Like, she's just there, and there's no choreography to it. She just put the mic in her hand and just let her go. Let her go. The clothes don't overtake her. I don't know. There's very few people that actually can move around in an evening gown, like the type of gowns that Ross wears, and don't trip all over it and nothing like you're never nervous. Like, oh, she going to trip on her gown. None of that. You never feel like that with her at all. At all. You say Beyonce is average. Beyonce is just Beyonce. Beyonce, I ain't gonna give her that. Beyonce actually is stunning. She really is. When she was younger, as she's one of those people, as she's gotten older, because I didn't feel that way about her in the beginning. When she was young, like when Destiny's Child first came out, I didn't feel that way about Beyonce. I said, oh, she's cute. I thought they were all cute. They were cute girls, and that was it. That's what I gave them. They're cute girls. Beyonce, as the adult, as Blue Ivy's mom and the twins' mom, that bitch is stunning. She's one of those people that literally grew into her looks. She is actually stunning at this point. Now, I don't know if that has to do with age, if it has to do with money, but she wasn't never broke. She wasn't never broke. I think it really has more to do with age. I like her better with the weight on, because she's not as tiny as she was, as some of the smaller, the earlier time. But no, Beyonce actually is stunning. Kelly Rowland has always been stunning. Sierra is stunning. You see the difference in what I'm talking about? Like when you say Diana Ross, we love Ross, but Ross ain't never been that. She's never been that. Ashanti is stunning. They're like you just be like, whoa, that they've never been that. And that's not all one look. It's not one specific look. Diane Carroll is stunning and always was. Diane Carroll was always stunning. When what? Well, damn, stunning. Here's one I'm gonna give y'all. It's gonna mess y'all up. Cicely Tyson. Cicely Tyson, as a young woman, wasn't even attractive at all. At all. To me, was not attractive at all in the least. Cicely Tyson hit her 70s, stunning. I don't know what that thing is or how that thing works, but when Cicely Tyson hit her 70s, mama, what stunning. I don't know what that's all about, but it just, I don't know. It just was what it was. I don't know. More past I don't know how to explain that. I really don't. Shirley Ralph has always been stunning. Always. Always. Always been stunning. Always. And that's what I'm saying. It's not a specific, it really has to do with the full picture. It's the full picture. And again, as Black people, because I've not really named anybody else other than African American women, you notice that I've said dark skinned women, fair skinned women, heavier women, thinner women. I'll give you a heavy woman. Now, Jennifer Holiday, for me, not attractive. Not attractive. A bit better in her older years, but still, I don't find her attractive. Catch this though. Somebody that people be sleeping on. Martha Wash, absolutely stunning. Patty Austin, absolutely stunning. And these are women that are of a larger body form. Tamala Mann is absolutely she is an absolute cutie, and I've seen Tamala Mann up close and personal when I was in New Orleans. Tamala Mann is just as cute as she wants to be. She really, really is. She really is a good-looking woman. And that's in all her sizes. Because you know her sizes go up and they go down and that kind of thing. Always like that. I'm looking at some, I ain't gonna keep going. I can go on with that forever. But it just is a thing. Phyllis Hyman, you know Phyllis Hyman is a glamazon. She's a glamazon and always has been. Always had, you know, she Pittsburgh. That's Pittsburgh. She got Pennsylvania privilege. But not, you know, and she was regular. Phyllis Hammond's from the projects. She's from the projects. She was around the way girl. She's right from up there in the projects. And always a glamazon. Tamara Dobson. You better get out of here, honey. Pam Grier. See, now Pam Grier, I thought Pam Grier was stunning. I didn't find Pam Grier pretty. I found Pam Grier stunning. You know, because she, you know, yeah, she was cool. Lola Falana. Lola Falana is one of them, she's dang near like Ross. Because Lola Falana is like my number 2 down from Ross. Because she actually is very, very pretty, but she has that gazelle thing going on like Ross. Like Lola Falana is literally just like, that's a Black showgirl, period. When you think Lola Falana, you think feathers, beads, baubles, and high kicks. And she just is, she's just stunning. She really is. Vesta was pretty. Vesta was a pretty heavier woman. Pretty, and then had all this stuff going on. You know, Vesta was funny. She could have did stand-up comedy. Let me get back to this. We could do this all day. I don't want folks that came here for Verzuz. You know, they'll start reading me in a minute, but you know, this is how I do my process. Don't get me on my people. So I'm gonna get back to, let me pull it in. So y'all know what I mean though. So Verzuz catalog battle. Okay. So that's everything. So it's cool, but I knew on the production side of things that Tank was going to give Tyrese a problem. I knew that as far as the back and forth, as far as the music went. And I knew that he would start singing some other songs that he did. And the thing is that Tank can sing. And a lot of people I know are not going to agree with me because I see more people that were really screaming. They felt like Tank lost to Tyrese. And they kept saying, well, Tyrese is singing and Tank is hardly singing. Well, here's the thing. It's all that. But remember, Verzuz is about the show quality. The flex, catch this, the flex of They were like, he's bringing out all these people. They were even saying that he was cheating at one point. I said, he's not cheating. He's using what he has for the flex, for the battle. That is Verzuz. That's what it's about. You know why Tank had all them people? Because he has all those relationships. He wrote for those people. He has good standing with those people. You know why Tyrese didn't have a whole bunch of people? Don't nobody fuck with Tyrese. Who wants to challenge that? Don't nobody fuck with Tyrese. They don't. Don't nobody fuck with Tyrese. Tyrese be out here in these streets acting a damn donkey. And people don't mess with him. So he couldn't do it. So is that cheating? No, that's not cheating. That is not cheating. That is totally fair in the realm of Verzuz. Tank flexed on him. He flexed like hell on Tyrese. I started to feel bad for him at a moment. But I'm going to tell y'all, the best part of the whole show, well, performance-wise, because they were singing their stuff, and I'm going to say vocally, Tank was smashing Tyrese. Tyrese was having some moments vocally as well. He was, and he kept hollering at the sound man, and that was all a deflection, and he screwed himself up. He was doing it from the very beginning. I was getting so irritated with him. Every time he started, and he was saying, turn my music up, turn my music up. There was nothing wrong with the music. He actually screwed things up because he made the sound man turn his music up, which ended up throwing his background singers off. Because in the earlier part, when the sound man, because the sound man at one point just started ignoring his goofy ass, he had drowned out the background singers. The music had drowned them out. You could only hear the music, and you could hear Tyrese, and you could hear them struggling underneath. That was all a deflection. It was a deflection. He knew, like we knew, that he was getting his ass handed to him right from the very beginning. The opening, he was trying to get Tank with the whole, what are you going to put everybody to sleep? Let's crank this motherfucker up. So it was so crazy for them to even be saying that, because who actually brought out a guest first? I'll wait. See, because I was watching. And when I watch with this and a pad like this. Who brought out a guest first? Tank opened up. His opening was slow. What do we know Tank for? Slow and sexy. That's what he do. And that's what he did. He opened it up like he was opening up a concert. It was like an interlude, an old nasty piece of sexy ass interlude. That's how he opened up. Tyrese threw a shot. You try to put everybody to sleep. Let's crank this motherfucker up. And then he immediately brought Chingy on. And I don't think anybody even caught it. Did anybody actually catch? Did anybody even catch? Tyrese didn't even open up his set. Chingy opened up Tyrese's set. Tyrese was playing hype man to Chingy rapping. That was his opening. I know who was watching and who wasn't watching. I said, okay. And I wrote in my pad, I can show you where I wrote it. I wrote, it's too early for a guest. How do you open up your set with a guest? I was like, that's because you're going to have to fight your way back from that. So I'm going to give you this. And this was written, this is up here on top of my notes. It's right up here on the top. See that? It's up here on the top. It says, this is a reversal versus winging it. Now, I wrote that when I first started out, when things first started, we was doing the openings. At the end of everything over on Apple, there was an interview. They interviewed Tyrese and Tank. And Tank was being interviewed first before Tyrese came on. And the first he was talking about how his the way his process is calculated, it's rehearsed and all of that. And then he said, you know, he loves Tyrese, but that's his brother, but his process is more ad lib and he likes to be in the moment. And I said, see, I knew I wasn't off. I knew I was dead on. As I wrote that was 2 hours before that, two and a half hours before that, when I wrote that up there, reversal and winging it. And that's what it felt like. And then after that, he come right back in. Tank go back, gets his next turn. He come back in with a guest. He fucking brings Jay Valentine with his fine ass. And then he's singing his face off. And I'm like, this ain't gonna be good. Because one, you know, Tank and Jay Valentine work together damn near daily. They do a podcast together and all that. I'm like, you stick these two fine asses in there together and both slams vocally. I was like, child, Tyrese, now, baby, they stacking the deck against you, baby. I said, oh. And then, now I will say this. Tank reads like an old nasty queen. Tank done did one Pride celebration too many. Because Tank was reading like an old nasty drag mother, honey. You hear me? He was reading for filth. I said, and I kept saying, you better chill. You better chill. And I'm just as we go, I'm writing these notes and I'm like, Tank, he was antagonizing that man and letting that man have it. And, you know, Tyrese was saying that, you know, they had their little banter back and forth, but I'm like, Tyrese don't do good in the back and forth. He don't do good back and forth. No, child, they ain't said Latavia Roberson and her. I know who Latavia is, child. She's on R&B Divas, boring the hell out of us, child. Hey, S, what's up, baby? Yeah, child, and stole money from. Well, child, she need coins, honey. We ain't heard from her. We ain't heard from her since she was on R&B Divas. Shit, that money for working down to the post office ain't getting things done. But she have to steal off the folks down to the Mardi Gras. Damn, that's horrible. But Tyrese was reading. You know, he was trying to read, but Tank read like a queen. So it was just like, oh my God, he's let him have it. And then Tyrese has a talent for putting his foot in his mouth. So the next thing he ends up doing, he says, after Tank did his Jay Valentine thing, then he did another little thing. And then Tyrese says, oh, okay. So what we get ready to do? We just get ready to you just gonna get out here and start doing songs that don't know goddamn body know? And Tank was like, he didn't have to read them because he knew he had read himself. He said, now don't disrespect Aaliyah. I was like, that's gonna be hard to come back from. I'm like, don't lose the crowd. Because I was like, oh shit. I was like, all right, but the people let that blow over. But I was like, damn, he put his foot in his mouth. So that was like, that was cringy. And then he brought his wife out, and his wife was sitting down, and Tyrese's wife sitting there and stuff on the little couch behind him and all that. And he keeps changing his clothes. And I'm like, okay, come on, Peacock. So he's changing the clothes and stuff. And then I wrote it down again. He's him and this sound thing. And I said, you're fucking up your own sound. The sound was fine. You're drowning out the background singers now. Everything is fine. Stop it. And then as I started to see it, every time he come out, it's something about the sound, something about the sound. The sound is fine. It was a deflection. It was a deflection because he knew himself that he was having some battles. Because you can see him struggling a little bit on some things. I'm like, come on, just sing, baby. Don't worry about it. I think he was psyching himself out, and he was having some struggles. He was. So then he's doing a song, and then he decides to say, and you know what? Stop that song right there. I ain't even going to do that. I don't feel like doing that now. Because, again, he needed to adjust. This was, again, about the winging it thing. He needs to adjust. They get 3 minutes per selection, per space. He told Tank, this was the bullet in the foot. Go on and take my extra minute. You can have it. You can have my extra minute. I said, you sure? He gave that punk his extra minute, and that bastard went over there and said, well, you know, due to what's going on with the TSA and all that and the airline, I had a guest that ain't able to be here. And I said, who? Pleasure P. I said, oh, okay, no problem. But then when I tell you, Bobby, Jay Valentine's brother, Bobby come out, who co-wrote the song Under, and he threw that out there. Oh yeah, this was Grammy nominated. He was supposed to come down and sing this for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and sing it. They done went up there and did Pleasure P's song and carried. Do you hear me? I said, Tyrese. Okay. The Tyrese fans, mother was watching y'all. I saw y'all, honey. Y'all started with that bullshit about he's starting to cheat. No, he ain't cheating. He started to flex. But you have to take into account Tyrese flexed first. Tyrese had Chingy open up for him. So he opened the floodgates to the guests. Because I thought that was way too early to be bringing a guest out. But you gave him your minute because since you didn't need it. And really, you were back there adjusting your playlist. And that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake. He went from that. He goes into next. He's going to do some other songs. It was a whole series of songs that he did. He did Omarion song O. He did Marquise Houston's song Naked and had his damn his background singers. Because all of them was supposed to show up but couldn't make it. He let his background singers do it with him. And then he started playing in the background. Tank was giving a fucking concert. And he was highlighting all his people. Them background singers over there with Tank was everything. When I tell you that punk sat up there and put together like a NPR Tiny Desk situation for this Verzuz, them background singers was ready. You hear me? They was ready. They was over there singing their asses off. And then he started playing back and forth with them. And then Tyrese's ass is late because he back there making a costume change. And he's taking a long time to get back. So that gave them more time to be flexing. And then this was one of the killing blows. This fool clowned. He clowned Tyrese. And I don't think at this part right here, I really don't think that Tyrese ever recovered from it. I think his mental was gone at this point when Tyrese was back there late changing his clothes, because all he changed was his jacket, really, at that point. He actually changed and he kept his turtleneck on. And when he came from around the thing, he said, oh, you got a new jacket. And he said, oh, but you kept on that same turtleneck. And then he said it's recycled. And then got to freestyling. Could somebody write in the chat for me, hashtag production? Put that in the chat for me. Hashtag production. He literally freestyled right there on the recycled turtleneck and had the whole place rocking about this here turtleneck. And I don't think that he recovered. I don't think mentally There was no recovery for it. And I think it threw him off. And it was what it was. I was like, oh my God. And he laughed it off. He did a good job. It was like a nervous laugh. He's like, yeah, yeah. I was like, shit, that's one of them. You know me, I'm stupid. See, even if I'm beefing, verbally sparring with somebody down here in this internet space, if you get a good one off on me, listen, I'm gonna laugh because I'm stupid like that. I'm stupid like that. Now, when people get to crying about something that I done said and want to take me to court and get all bent out of shape or want to try to strike my channel down, I'm just looking at them like, well, bitch, if you knew you could hang, why start? Because I don't start. I don't start no trouble. I do finish though. So I just don't get it. But I'm like, okay, why engage if you know you can't hang? So anyway, so he did pretty good with like covering it up with like a little laugh and stuff. But I was like, oh, he just smashed you, baby. This is a mess. And then Tyrese, he did his little thing. And then wait a minute. This is when I knew he was getting ready to start getting nasty. Okay. Tyrese was getting ready to go some places. Did y'all catch that Kim Burrell caught a stray? Now, I don't like Kim Burrell, so I ain't feel bad about it. That's her fat ass goddamn business. Well, she ain't fat no more, but that's her fat head. That's her goddamn business. Because Kim ain't did nothing to nobody. And Tyrese hook slid the shit out of Kim Burrell. I said, well, what Kim got to do with it? He gonna say, oh, yeah. Y'all singing about the turtleneck. He gonna say, that's all right. Yeah. He gonna say, then you out here, you want to be doing all these runs. Should have just went ahead and brought in Kim Burrell. I said, oh, how Kim catch a stray? But that's on her. So I ain't a fan. So that's on her. But yeah, he sure hook slid Miss Kim. I said, okay. Okay. I said, things gonna get ugly. And then my absolute favorite part of the show happened after that. I said, because Tyrese, he did a little song and he had his little ladies, I think that's what he did lately. That have I told you? Yeah. He kind of swayed things back his way with that one. He killed on that. But that goddamn production over there, over with Tank. Tank took it, and see, that's the other thing. Tank is a talker. He's a wordsmith too. Okay. Again, somebody write in the chat, hashtag production. He literally kept playing right off of the things that he was saying, and it was like an ongoing monologue. It was kicking his ass. He went to talking about, that's right, yeah, you get you a woman that does this and a woman that does that, and then that bastard brought out LaToya Luckett. Help me, somebody. When I tell you the way in which LaToya Luckett dropped stank all over that stage, I ain't never liked that song Regret as much as I liked it the other day. I always thought it was just a cute song. LaToya Luckett hit that stage, and see, that hoe, she knew she was getting ready to do some shit, because she told Tyrese before she got started, I'm sorry. I said, sorry for what, bitch? She did. She said, he asked her, he said, do you think he should regret it? And she said, yes, I do. And looked over there at him and told him, baby, I love you. I'm sorry. I said, this bitch gonna show out. And when I tell you, LaToya turned that stage. She did the hell out of Regret. It was so good. It was so good. I've been listening to Regret all day. All day. She wasn't even part of well, she was part of the production. Because if you look at my thumbnail, you see she on there. She was my favorite part of the whole show. Try to get back. I done threw it up on my playlist. I ain't had that on my playlist when it was out. Tore ass on that stage. Look good. That platinum hair, platinum waves. snatched. That blue dress had this badass blue dress on. Look, but we were talking about stunning females. But that's how you're supposed to do it. But again, she come from that Destiny's Child situation. You the only female in the production. Baby, that feminine energy ate that whole shit up. I said, yes, woman. Yes, woman. Thank you, queen. And then she tipped the fuck on out of there. And she carried on so bad that Tank told him, keep that going. I said, who does nigga think he is? Jesus with the water and the wine? Keep that going. And she rolled back into it. I said, and it was over for me then. It was over. I said, I don't really give a shit what you do from here. It's done. It really is done. If he don't fall over his stool and crack his 2 front teeth out or something, and then he started off in his intro, that nigga was over there playing the damn piano. I said, this time, somebody write it in the chat, hashtag production. Move right along. So Tyrese ended up going, and he's changing these clothes. I said, come on. He was giving y'all the Diana Ross of the thing. Now that thing was changing clothes, and all the clothes were nice. Can't take that away. He looked good. He always looked good, though. Always looked good. He wears the shit out of his clothes. Come back. He's done. And then he really made another mistake. And you already changing shit as you go. Why didn't you make the decision to change? You're gonna come out and you're gonna do a song that you and Tank did together. Why? You thought that was a flex? You thought that was a flex? That was a fool's move, sweetheart. He sang Prior to You, which is Tyrese featuring Tank. He thought that was a flex because you sang backup for me on my song. You accompanied me on my song. That wasn't no flex because one, you having some vocal difficulties tonight, and that bastard ain't. So while they were singing it together, Tank was tearing Tyrese's ass up. I said, oh, bad idea. Totally bad idea. So I'm just lost where the people were saying, he's really singing it. No, he's really struggling. But I mean, it is what it is. Because I didn't seen Tyrese do what he do. And he admitted himself that he hit some bad notes. I'm like, damn. All right, cool, no problem. And as if it wasn't enough, again, I told you, Tank done been down to too many of the goddamn Pride events. You know how we do. Because I am a proud rainbow rider, okay? I am one of the OGs of the fucking Legibitiqual, okay? You know how we do. We do everything on a scale of 1 to 10. We're going for the 20. We put 20 on 10. That's what we do. You already was giving the man hell, okay? You're giving the man hell. You read and roasted and dragging. The man come out. He got this white tux on. Now you like, oh shit, I know you mean business. Because he said he get ready to hit me with one of his, and I'm waiting on Sweet Lady. I said, ooh, because it's gonna be a problem when that one come up. What did Tank do? What did Tank do to combat the white tux? That fucker brings out Breon and Jamie Foxx. That's the flex. That is the Verzuz flex. That's the flex. So he bring out Jamie Foxx. Then Jamie Foxx, he gonna have him a moment because he's a peacock. He's a peacock. And I said, but that was totally Legibitiqual. You're already walking him. Did you have to stomp him? Did you have to stomp him? It didn't end there. Then he goes and gets Trey Songz. And here he come with his pencil head ass. I said, oh. Now him and Trey, they done did what they did. And then they get ready to roll it into the damn remix. This is when I knew. I said, Tyrese said, you know what? That's when he started getting rude, honey. He said, cut that off. I said, oh, shit. Cut that off. Cut that off. And the sound people, they turned it off. He said, nigga, you done sang so-and-so song 3 times. You done sang this, that, and the other. And then Trey, you know, Trey is with the shits. So Trey got something to say. Trey gonna say, well, wait a minute. Now, keep in mind, they got the 3 minutes. Tyrese kept going over the 3 minutes in the beginning. And he gonna say, man, fuck that. We here on the Verzuz. I'm gonna take my time. Now you calling tech on the 3 minutes because you're getting your ass handed to you. So he called tech on it, and he was not budging. Like, first I thought he was just joking. He was not joking because they was getting ready to really carry the way that they did on the damn Marcus Houston's. No, I'm sorry, the Pleasure Peace song. He said, y'all not gonna do that to me again. Fuck that shit. So he said, then Trey Songz says, you know what? Fuck it. I said, because you know how messy Tyrese is online? 3 people that you don't want to be beefing with online, males, heterosexual males. See, I just took myself out of it. You know you don't want to fuck with me with that goddamn broom because I'll clean you up. So yeah, it ain't that. I'm gonna take me out of it. But online, 3 heterosexual males that you do not want a day of is Trey Songz, 50 Cent, and goddamn Tyrese. Because Tyrese is going to take you on a journey. 50 Cent is cold-blooded. And Trey Songz is just with the shits and don't mind staying at the spot until the police come. Okay? I said, Lord have mercy. Trey says, fuck it. And then he says to him, he says, you know what? You're doing really well. And he left the stage. I said, oh, Trey Songz, you raggedy pencil head bitch. I said, that was so shady. That was so shady. And I said, I got a feeling. We ain't heard the last of that little piece right there because Trey be with the shits. So I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in the next 4 or 5 days, there'll be some words exchanged between Tyrese and Trey Songz. I would not be surprised. This is where we get to the fuckery of it all. I said, oh, so we get ready to, okay. And then some things shifted a little bit. Some things shifted a little bit. Okay, so that was that. So Trey just went ahead and left. Trey left, and then Tank. Help me somebody. Tank decided, no problem. And he said, he said it so solid. I said, he get ready to do something here. And that bastard tore into I Deserve. I said, okay, all right, Tank. I Deserve. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, he spun it all the way down and finished it off with Please Don't Go. And start playing to the women in the audience and started off the shade. Started off on the side, the women on the side that Tyrese was on. I said, okay. All right. And meanwhile, all while the thing with the clothes, he kept changing clothes. Tyrese kept changing clothes. And he kept saying to Tank, You don't want to change your clothes? You ain't brought no change of clothes. And this one, their little reads were getting a little nastier as the night went on, and they kept telling, we're friends, we're friends. Nah, damn all that. Damn all that. That's why I was so goddamn, because y'all supposed to be friends. But y'all are both creatives. Y'all are both creatives. People who are creatives who do the exact same thing can be the nastiest child, because sometimes there'll be, it just be what it be, child. But yeah, and that damn Tank, I said, okay. Tank told her, and then there's they could see some of the like the online stuff. They're aware of like what's being said, like what the fandom is saying. I said, oh God, honey. He teased Tank about his clothes again, and that damn Tank said, meanwhile, this one outfit that I got on, more valuable than everything he didn't put on tonight. That's it. Okay. So then Tyrese decides to throw some shade about #1 songs and chart placement. I said, ooh. So they started talking about that, and I said, okay. And right then, Tank, the only thing I could contribute it to is you hanging with us. That's it. It is what it is. Now, what we do and what our attractions are don't rub off on people. If you're a LGBTQI, you're a LGBTQI. You can't become LGBTQI by hanging around us. You can't sit firm. I could just sit on the rainbow and I don't fall off. I don't lose my space. I just sit on the rainbow and I'm just there. You can't learn that. That doesn't rub off on you. If you're not meant to sit on the rainbow, you don't just sit on the rainbow. But being around us, that reading, roasting, and dragging that we do, that will rub off on you. Yeah, it will. Men and women alike who hang out with people from the rainbow tend to know how to drag a bitch. It just, now that's the part, that will rub off on you. People be all, oh no, I don't want to be around gay people because, honey, being around me not going to make you like boys. If you didn't like them before you met me, you're not going to like them after you meet me. Okay. I can't do it. I'm clearly not that powerful. But if you hang out with me and I run into a situation where I have to clean a bitch up, you will walk away with a little bit in your arsenal that you have, that when somebody come for you, you'll be able to get them up off of you quickly and slay the bitch. That does rub off. And yeah, and that too. Here we go. That part too. He's an old nasty piece of January Capricorn, such as myself. Silent, deadly. Open your mouth and shake the shit up. All right, so he went from that. He said, well, being on the charts is real good. Being on charts is real good. But one of us sell out tours. One of us sells out tours, and one of us can't do that. I said, oh shit. So now we're really talking verses. We're really talking verses now, because now we're talking about impact to the industry. That's what Verzuz is about. Impact to the industry and the people. And when I took that Tyrese pulled one of the Skittles out of his rainbow and said, oh, nigga, shit. Anybody can headline at a hotel lobby. Baby, I said, said, ooh. I said, ooh, ooh. I said, Tank, bitch, he got you, bitch. Said, he got you, bitch. Because, ooh. Tyrese, bitch, that was a good one. That was a good one. I said, oh. Because, listen, Tank rolled that read out like he was filling stadiums like Beyonce. And I was like, that was the shit. Baby, that thing turned around and said, oh, shit, bitch, anybody can sell out. I said, oh, okay. I said, okay. Girl, check yourself, check yourself. Exactly. Exactly how many gay pride celebrations have you headlined on, Tank? Because that bitch turned around with a fast comeback and said, oh, so you too big for the hotel lobby, huh? You do movies and stuff. You're too big for a hotel lobby. He said, I'll sing anywhere where the people are. Right, y'all? I said, oh. Okay. And then he didn't stop. He said, yeah, see, he too big, y'all. He don't know. One of us knows about hard ticket sales. He don't know about that. He don't know about no hard ticket sales, no tours, none of that. None of that. And then told him, now go ahead on and put your jacket to work, nigga. Talk about that white jacket. That white jacket for that tax. That was ugly. And let me tell you what happened next. Tyrese sang, tore it up. Well, he was tearing it up. But his background, horrible on that last song. There was a girl, it was this one girl in the background. I said, if somebody don't give her a snicker, because she's not quite feeling herself right now. But that's probably all that yelling that you done had her doing all night long for 2 hours, because you kept on turning that music up, and they had to keep on trying to keep up with that music because you was drowning them out. She was off terrible in that last song. It was sticking out like a sore thumb. She was horrible. She messed up the whole background in that last song. He finished the last song and then hollered over the mic, tell him to get my tell the valet to bring my car. I've won and I'm done. Dropped the mic and walked off the stage and left. And we like, okay. Everybody running around looking like, what? And then Tank stayed. He's like, wait a minute. He did his little whatever he was doing. And he's like, well, wait a minute. Is Tyrese not coming back? Like, well, wait a minute. We were supposed to. He's like, hold on. And so now things are off the record now. We're like, what the hell is going on here? Like, is he serious? Like, and he asked the wife, is he changing clothes again? And he's talking to his people saying, is Tank coming back out? Is Tyrese coming back out? Is he changing clothes again? What was he doing? That motherfucker was gone. He had left. He was gone. He had left. And we were there for a minute. So Tank, somebody do it for me again in the comments. Hashtag production. He starts singing. He starts singing the part, the last song that Tyrese was singing. He was ad-libbing it. I said, oh. And people still talking about Tyrese won. Tyrese, what? How do you think that? If for nothing more than the fact that he just fucking crashed out. He literally crashed out and left. Said he was the winner and left. Hot ass mess. That was the worst thing I've seen other than drunk ass Chaka Khan. And I ain't taking it back. She was drunk, completely drunk. And Stephanie Mills had to sing for her all night long with her drunk ass, honey. I couldn't believe that she actually went on tour with her. I said, Stephanie, oh, you really want to work for your money because you know you're going out on tour with that drunk bitch, honey. But she got herself together for the tour. But I ain't taking that back. Chaka, you was disgraceful. A drunken ass. Oh! Anyway, moving right along. So he ended up, and the wife, yes, baby, yes, he left the wife. Left her ass sitting there. Left her. Tank went on, finished everything up, said, you know, we were supposed to have another person that couldn't make it here, and we were going to finish out we were going to surprise you with them, and then we were going to finish it out together. It was Genuine that was going to come. We were going to finish it out together. And then Big Mouth, Tyrese, came back because Tank actually introduced his family. And that was one thing too. Let me go back. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. When Tyrese brought out his wife and a few of her little girlfriends and they sat back on the couch, he had said to Tank, where's your girl? So this is how the little reads was going. So they were saying, you know, I seen people saying, you know, that Tank was going too far with his jokes. But no, I mean, the nastiness was on the same level at one point. And it just was going, it was, child was just two queens battling. That's what I saw. It was two folks, two queens battling. And the only thing is that Tank has spent more time with us and he know how to battle. Maybe he was, ain't nothing like seeing straight men get it on, honey. He was, child, they was going, I said, ooh, y'all, you bitches tonight. You bitches tonight. I ain't seen verbal battle or sparring, as what we'll call it. Verbal sparring. I've not seen verbal sparring like that since I was a young gay sitting in my drag mother's house in her living room, and some of us would get into it. That's the last time I've seen that type of level of old nasty sparring back and forth. And you know, it's always right there at the cusp where you'd be like, oh, somebody get ready to get beat the fuck up. That's how I felt. And Tyrese left because he crashed on out and left. Okay, he got mad and left that wife sitting there on that couch. Anyway, he came back and he gonna say, we got interviews to do. I had went out to do the interview. No, somebody caught your ass and talked you off the ledge and sent your ass back is what happened. It's what happened. Miss Toby, of course I talked about Jamie's performance. You couldn't not talk about Jamie's performance. And Jamie had a whole little concert of his own. You know, Jamie loves to make things about him. He told y'all he introduced his new thing. He's Jamie motherfucking Fox. I said, okay, Jamie. Anytime says something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you can only imagine how the other person feels, and they have to smile. Baby, listen. Either smile or attack. Those are your only choices. My grandmother always used to say, it's the truth that hurts. He hurt him. When he talked about them ticket sales and shit, that hit hard. Because again, it's about contribution to the industry. I said, oof. Now, if they said Mona Scott told Tyrese to go back, you know what? She might have, because I'm going to do this other part, and that make a whole bunch of sense that you said that, Elegant Pace. So after they went ahead, ended everything out, and of course they hugged it out, and then they did the little fake, we're brothers, this, that, and the other. Y'all just don't know. Yeah. We're looking for you all to unfollow each other, you lying bastards. It was what it was, and we enjoyed it. But my ass, honey. This is the things that internet beef is created behind. You only get a good internet beef when the people actually do know each other and do have some type of camaraderie or have some type of past with each other. That's when you get an actual good beef. And we're going to be waiting for this one. We're looking for y'all to unfollow each other. Anyway, I said it and I ain't taking it back. Moving on. I said it. Anyhow, so afterwards over there at Apple, they had They had interviewed. I told y'all that they interviewed them, and Mona Scott Young was there, and she did come in halfway through the interview and sat down, interrupted the interview, and went over there and sat down. Tank was so unhinged during that interview. Now I'm going to say this because I don't know another way to really. Please don't take what I'm getting ready to say out of context, okay? Because I don't have no problem about explaining myself, and I say what I want to say, and I don't be having to run from what I'm saying. But just to paint the picture for you of how Tyrese was acting in this interview, he was holding on to not crashing all the way out and trying to make things light. So he still was saying, I won, I won, this, still doing the bravado, but keeping it, and Tank is just a bitch. So Tank was just like, oh. He was terrorizing that man. Okay. I said, stop it, Tank. Stop it. Stop. You already know his panties are in a bunch. His nuts are sore. Leave him alone. But he was. I said, boy, you done been over there standing by that rainbow too damn long. So that was going on. And then Tyrese literally called out one of Tank's background singers by name and said, what was going on with him all night? He fucked up your background all night long. He was terrible all night. He was singing in like Z minor. I said, called the child out by name. And Tank was like, what? And I'm like, that's so messed up. That is so messed up. So messed up. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, it really was his background singer on that last song. That was the worst thing that was on the stage all night long. And look at this, say December Capricorn versus January Capricorn. I tell you all the time, we are different. We are totally different. Totally different. One of us is the front side of the quarter and the other one is the back side of the quarter. And a lot of times we really do knuck if you buck. We will clank at the head. Me and December Capricorn, I usually be like, all right. We have a Capricorn respect for one another, but if we end up having to go toe to toe, shit gets ugly quickly. And when we start to battle, that's where you actually can see the difference between the December and the January. Even the way we move. But I ain't no punk, so any of y'all December ones want to try it, honey. I will get that broom out on your ass, honey. Anyway, so that was what was going on. That interview was very very telling. It was very telling, and I don't know what type of friendship they had. I'm just going to leave that right there. I don't know what type of friendship they had, but we'll see what they have as we go forth. Give it a few days. And Trey Songz, I got my eye and my ear on you because I know you and I know how you move. All in all, Verzuz usually always deliver, and this is no different. The only Verzuz that I have ever seen, really, that there was no mess, and it was truly a love fest for me. And I've seen most of them, but truly a love fest was Jill Scott and Erykah Badu. That will never be matched. That was a love fest. There was no competition. And they were able to go toe to toe, blow to blow, because they both do the exact same thing. They are both poets. They are both wordsmiths. They are both flawless vocally. Both of them can, both of them got training, and they could go toe to toe, blow to blow, but they couldn't. They literally were loving on each other to the point where they literally had you over here in tears. For most of that verses, I was in here literally in tears for most of it. And the shocking one for me was BB and CeCe Winans versus Mary Mary, because Tina Campbell and BB are both bitches. Tina and BB were battling. Do you understand? They were getting the versus battle on. And CeCe was having some vocal issues that night. And Erica was fangirling out over CeCe and helping CeCe carry her vocals the whole night. And CeCe fell all the way, because I think that's the first time they've actually really met and worked together. And CeCe basically fell in love with Erica that night. And I'm sure that they probably talk to each other on the phone to this very day. But Tina and BB was giving bitch what? Bitch what? Because one thing BB's going to do, BB's going to sing. Now, I don't know how many Pride celebrations. I don't know how many Pride celebrations that BB done been by a headline, but BB got that shit with him, and Tina, Tina's like, bitch, I sangs, and then at one point she had to yank her sister, and when they did yesterday, and tell her, hit him with that note right quick. And that goddamn Erica hit that note at the end of yesterday. Y'all remember that? She hit that note at the end of yesterday, and BB was giving this. Ooh. I said, BB wasn't worried about all that hollering that Tina do. He wasn't worried about all that hollering. Baby, that Erica came up out of that alto range, baby, and hit that long note at the end. He's like, ooh, wait a minute, bitch. And then something happened with the internet. Beyonce's internet was fucking up at that time. I said, now what they done? They probably sprinkled some of that goddamn. That was shady. That was shady. Why did I even think it? That was so shady. Spillitboy TV. You always got some shit going on. I'm gonna say it. I know y'all like, go on and say it. I'm gonna say it. Child. Try to sprinkle some of Miss Tina's gumbo on the goddamn and the internet fucked up. Child. But anyway, I love you, Miss Tina, girl. But I told you about that gumbo girl. Anyway, so they did the thing and then had to turn around, and when the internet came back up and we were back streaming again, they sang yesterday again, because part of it we missed it. It was choppy and stuff, and they brought it back in and had her do it again, and that Tina was still giving BB, bitch what? Oh no, what? No fluke. She could do it on call. She could do it every time I tell her to do it. Now, what was you saying? I said, oh, a mess. But listen, that's what it's all about. Verzuz always delivers, and we always have our back and forth after it's over, which is what we love. We love to go back and forth with each other. Sometimes it gets out of hand. Sometimes we get a little ugly, but it is what it is. Now let's go ahead and get it started. So for me, I feel as though Tank absolutely stomped Tyrese in this Verzuz. And if you're watching this in the playback, go on and leave me a comment and tell me what you think. Tell me how you don't agree and all of that. I'm interested to hear it. And it's cool, because this is what It's a safe space to say what you need to say, but don't get too cute now. I done already told you I'm a January Capricorn, and I will. Anyway, am I still reviewing Beauty in Black? Absolutely. Absolutely. I have all of the, I got one, episode 9 I uploaded, and then the others will be uploaded. I've already watched them all. I just have to get down and put them in video form. Each of the other episodes will be up between today and tomorrow. Got my word. Okay. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Again, I don't know how it got past me that this was actually going on, but so glad it came across my desk, which you knew it would. Anyway, but this was good. This was really, really good. Trey Songz, I got my eye on you, baby. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one and have a great weekend. I'll see y'all on the flip side later.